All right, well, let's kick this off. I'm Ryan Herbst. I'm Chief Strategist at unifiedcommunications.com, and I'd like to welcome you to a special online event focused on the HP Poly Union and the new presence line of Teams rooms. I'm joined today by Matt Copen, who's a collaboration solutions specialist at HP. Matt, thanks so much for being here. Really excited to have you, and yeah, please take a moment, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your role at HP.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I'm excited to be here too. We've got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of excitement going on with HP and Poly right now, and certainly with the release of HP Presence. Just as a real quick introduction, my name is Matt Copen. I'm with HP, and I'm a collaboration solutions specialist. And really, what my job is I'm kind of an overlay to our sales team and more of a subject matter expert on everything Microsoft Teams room and Zoom room related within HP. So my focus is really on HP Presence and the launch of that product and making sure that we're meeting all the needs of our customers with this product and delivering that information back to our product team to make sure that we continue to kind of improve and deliver solutions that meet our customers' needs. So really excited for the launch of HP Presence. I think we've got a great product here with a lot of really, really great user-facing features that hopefully we can dig into this morning.
Awesome. Yeah, so just a little bit of housekeeping before we dive in. Just would like to remind everyone that Q&A is enabled. We're actually using, this is Teams Webinar, the platform that we're using, and we're using kind of new Q&A functionality. So this is different than the Teams meeting chat. You'll see a Q&A pane that's enabled. We'll be taking questions during the last 10 to 15 minutes of the event. So please feel free to start submitting those questions now. I know there's probably a ton of things that are on all of our mind relating both to HP Poly and certainly also to Presence. I know some of you are enjoying lunch courtesy of HP, so big thanks, Matt, to HP and you for sponsoring this. So I guess HP Poly Union, the acquisition has completed, and the Presence line is just starting to ship in the U.S. and launching, and so we've got two really super exciting topics. So let's just dive right in. I think, as always, we'll keep this super conversational, and I can't wait. So I some questions that I put together just to start the conversation. I guess first, starting with what's on everybody's mind around the HP's acquisition of Poly. Would love for you to share, what you can regarding what customers should expect in the near term and the long term relating to products, and how HP and Poly interact with customers. How is all that going to come together?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, and there's a lot going on between HP and Poly right now. We're kind of looking at this as kind of a day one and a day two, movement. So day one is really November 1st, 2022. And what that is that's really when Poly and HP start working as kind of one company. Now, well, I shouldn't even say it as one company, because the two companies will continue to kind of operate independently. What we'll be doing over the next, 12 to 14 months is really, starting to strategize and starting to work with our customers collectively. So on November 1st, really what we're going to be doing is, working with our customers as two independent companies, and we're starting to strategize as to, what the product portfolio is going to look like going forward, how we're going to address, warranty and services and those kind of things. There's a lot of question marks still. This is a very, very new thing. I know the acquisition was really only finalized at the end of August. So there's a lot of information we don't have today. But again, that day one is really where, the Poly and HP teams start working, with our accounts and with our customers together. Now, 1 year later, November 1st, 2023, that's what we're calling day two. That's when everything kind of comes under the HP umbrella and the two companies start operating as one. So for the foreseeable future, for kind of the next year or so, it's kind of going to be business as usual. You're still gonna talk to your Poly reps. You're still gonna place your orders through Poly, and you're gonna place your HP orders through HP. But we on the back end are going to start working together to help deliver solutions that really kind of really benefit the end customer in the long run. If I can speculate for just a second about what the product portfolio is going to look like.
Yeah. Yeah, please
I'm
do.
super
Yeah.
excited. Yeah. And the reason that I'm so excited is because, the two product catalogs complement each other so well. What HP has really built around Presence, and even with our Slice product, which was the predecessor, is a powerful compute, platform that's designed to run Microsoft Teams, meetings, a center of room control that's really easy to use, low profile, and well designed. That's our bread and butter. That's what we do really, really well. Now we're offering some cameras in the HP Presence lineup, but they're really geared toward the small to medium sized conference rooms. Poly is bringing to the table something like 1,100 patents for audio and video, and their catalog for conference room equipment and meeting space equipment is pretty deep. And we know that we're going to really be able to expand our product offering to our customers just through what Poly brings to the table. So I'm going to show you here in a little while what the HP Presence lineup looks like. You can kind of start to imagine what HP Presence is going to look like once we can start to fold in what Poly kind of brings to the table. So from a product standpoint, you'll start to see that almost immediately. We'll start working together to kind of bring the Poly solutions into HP Presence, and then in a year from now, that's when we'll really start combining, the R&D teams and the product teams to start really developing solutions in-house with both manufacturers.
So just to play it back, I guess over the near time, certainly, and likely for throughout the next 12 months, things should feel pretty consistent, or like they do today for most customers. They will reach out to the teams that they currently reach out to, while there will be mixes of products, probably showing these products together and how they complement each other. The HP and Poly specific products the part numbers will be the same, and it's really kind of business as usual. Even what about on, I guess, and I want to dive in some more, but just in terms of warranty and support and service contracts, just to make sure everybody feels confident, like all of that just works through current process today. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. You kind of said it. It's business as usual, and that's really what we want to focus on. We don't want to disrupt, business. We certainly don't want to disrupt warranties and services and that sort of thing. So again, for the foreseeable future, continue to go to Poly for your Poly needs, continue to come to HP for your HP needs, and we'll be working at integrating those two systems over the next year.
Great. And then, I know we're going to talk about, presence, but we certainly can't forget the huge lineup on the personal device side coming from Poly as well, with things like headsets. So I know that's also, in addition to kind of what's coming together, that's bringing just a really deep portfolio of products to the HP side on headset, and I'm sure a whole bunch of those patents coming from that world as well.
Yeah, one of the unique things that HP kind of plays a role in this part of the market is that we can kind of help with both sides of that conversation, right? You go into a Teams meeting, there's often conference rooms involved, but there's a lot of remote users, people that are at home. And Poly really brings to the table, like you said, headsets and professional audio and video equipment that users at home are able to take advantage of. So our goal, at HP, is really to kind of uplift both sides of that conversation. And you can take $20,000 and throw it at a conference room and put the best equipment in there. But if at the end of the day your users go home with a laptop with a lousy microphone and a lousy camera, or a headset that doesn't work the right way, that experience isn't great for anybody. So to your point, yeah, a lot of what Poly brings to the table are those personal devices that remote users at their homes or in the coffee shops are going to be able to take advantage of, and that really does kind of really bolster the product offering.
Yeah, I would say certainly between the two portfolios as they begin to mesh together, this is a really comprehensive kind of holistic, hybrid work story. From home to hot desk to office, to shared spaces, and then certainly, and I know, I guess as we talk about presence, we can certainly talk about, I think some of Poly's secret sauce, around camera AI and that world, and how that I think is going to really complement HP, particularly as we get into kind of medium and large spaces where where those offerings aren't in market yet on the presence side, right? So
Yep.
yeah, it sounds great. I guess anything else before we kind of shift in maybe and start talking specifically around presence? Anything else on the acquisition or maybe common questions, things that people are asking that you wanted to use this opportunity to clear up?
Yeah, no, I think we touched on all the points. I'll finish here just by saying that it is again kind of just business as usual. Keep your poly business with your poly partners and with your HP business with your HP partners, and we'll work with each other to make sure that you have the best possible solutions. So what you'll see too from HP, are combined solutions that include both HP product and poly product to really kind of again deliver the best possible experience to our users, not strictly an HP presence package that's HP end to end. We're going to include that poly stuff in there to make sure that we've
Yeah,
got the best
unfortunately,
solution.
there's folks like us who have been deeply
You
entrenched
got it.
with both poly and HP for a long time, and so I think we can also, I think from a partner perspective, help kind of bridge the gap for customers as well, where some of kind of the one throat to choke in sitting in between as this acquisition and as the products begin to play out and merge over
Yeah,
over the long term.
Yep, we're happy to lean on partners like Unified Communications, who, like you said, have the relationships with both manufacturers and know the products inside out and backwards. So you guys will be a huge help for both us and obviously for the end user to be able to again make the right product selection and get it integrated the right way.
Yeah, so I just wanted to remind everyone that we do have Q&A enabled, and so if you've got questions around, HP Poly, I know Matt can't necessarily answer everything. Some things are still being worked out, or there could be things that he's not privy to specifically, but we'll certainly give it a run. And I think ultimately, just want everyone to have confidence that there's no big obstacle in the near term from a customer perspective. This all should be kind of net good. So yeah, I guess with that, let's shift in kind of gears and talk about HP's presence line. So HP has launched. I know we've talked a bit in the past, and people have seen some the marketing around this new line of Teams rooms. This is Microsoft certified. I think that the big announcement this week is that this product is shipping in the US, which is exciting. But let's just kind of talk about some of the differentiating functionality and features, and let's unpack presence a bit, some of what you're most excited about, and how this product line kind of stands out in the market relative to other Teams room manufacturers.
Yeah, you're right. It is a busy market, and this is obviously, let's kind of start at the beginning too. This is HP's third generation actually of Microsoft Teams Room solution. So presence is not our first run through when it comes to this sort of a thing. We've had a lot of success with the Slice product, and we learned a lot from that product. That product was a great solution for us, but HP Presence kind of takes it to another level, and the product management team that's behind HP Presence is really focused on two experiences, the end user experience and the IT administrator experience, the guy that's got to deal with managing these things on a regular basis. And they've really put a lot of thought and time into removing the number of times you need to reach out and touch that center of room control. We want to, use what we know about how people work in meetings and how they interact to, automate some things through intelligence so that you're not always, needing to reach out and turn up the volume control or down the volume control or move the camera around. We wanted to take a lot of that decision making or really interaction away from the customer. We want the end user to really show up and be able to focus on that meeting content. And I know you've heard that from other manufacturers, but we kind of we put a lot of time and R&D into just those things. That was our focus while we were building the product. So if you kind of ask me what the single most differentiating thing or thing I'm most excited about this product is really the intelligence that's built into the product itself. Obviously, the components and the hardware itself, they look great. I'd be excited to put it on just about anybody's conference room table, but it's really the thoughtful feature sets and things that we've built into the product that really kind of separate it from a lot of the things that are out there, and really just, overall, all of them together really improve that user experience. So, and we can break that down, Ryan, if you want. There's a number of things that we've built into, audio and video and just end user experiences that really do kind of take that to the next level.
Very cool. Yeah, let's start on the camera side, because I know camera AI really at the top of the list for most customers we're talking to these days. They just are they're needing to rely on that AI to create more engagement. It is just not the same world, the pre-COVID world, where it's acceptable to have kind of just a reference shot of the room. We really want the camera to lean in, no pun intended, and create a more engaging experience for folks that are outside of the room. And camera AI is just paramount in that discussion. So, and maybe we could talk about what HP is doing in terms of camera AI. I think we know that the Poly side brings just a lot of thought leadership and history in this world. I kind of wrote the book to some degree, and so I think that's going to overlay really nicely. But yeah, they also super excited to talk about what HP has developed specifically within Presence.
Yeah. So again, the Poly patents and everything they're bringing with AI are some of the things that we're most excited about that acquisition. But yeah, video is a great place for us to kind of get started. Actually, let me share my screen here. I got a couple things that I think will help kind of demonstrate what we're doing on the video side that really kind of show what kind of separates us. So, there's a few things, and maybe we should start with the product itself, actually,
Sure.
Before we just dive into features and functionality. So let me just give a kind of a real quick overview of the family of HP Presence and what's rolling out with what we're calling Wave 1 and what's kind of the future of HP Presence as well. So you can see on the screen here, this is the HP Presence, portfolio of products, and the cameras, which we're going to talk about here in a second, are on the right hand side. But it's a fully end-to-end HP solution for conferencing and collaboration. So you've got a compute engine that's based on Windows 10 IoT and our desktop mini platform. You've got a couple center of room control options. Even satellite mics if you need to extend that, but the video portion. So let's focus on that for just a second. So you see, our two cameras that we're going to be rolling out here. The first one, and the one that I'm going to focus on today because it's part of Wave 1, is our HP Presence C, 4K AI camera. I know it's a mouthful. We call it the C camera. The idea here is, it's got a 4K sensor built into it. It's 12 megapixels. It's got 120-degree field of view. So again, a real nice wide angle for a smaller huddle space or even a larger conference room. But the cool part about these cameras is that, we wanted to make sure that we provided intelligence in the conference room, but we didn't want to tax the CPU, the compute engine, with all of that processing. We wanted that compute engine to really just focus, hey, we want the best experience for Microsoft Teams. So what we did is we actually built, dedicated processors in the edge devices here to handle video processing and audio processing. So some of the features that we've got in here, even though they're really powerful features and you might think, hey, they might be sucking up a lot of CPU usage, it's happening at the edge device so that compute device can still continue focusing on just delivering that Microsoft Teams experience. So let me dig into kind of the C camera here and what we've kind of added on a feature standpoint to kind of separate it. So there's a couple things that are definitely worth talking about. One is obviously, the camera, because it has a processor built into it, it also has beamforming microphones, which allow us to do two things. One, we can identify the number of people in the space and crop out negative space. So again, this is not necessarily unique. It's available in a lot of cameras right now, but it removes the problem of, hey, you're sitting in a conference room, nobody wants to sit up close to the camera, so people end up sitting, at the back of the table. You got a lot of negative space. The camera will actually crop that space out so that you're not looking at empty chairs and that sort of thing. And it's dynamic. So again, if more people come in and sit down in the chairs, the camera's going to expand. What we're doing that's kind of cool is we're taking this one step further and we're integrating what we call speaker frame. So the camera itself is not only looking at the entire frame to figure out, who are the people in this space and what do I need to send to the far side, but with those beamforming microphones, we're also identifying the active speaker. So we're actually showing the remote participant, the person sitting on the laptop here, not only that wide angle view of the room, but also the active speaker in a picture-in-picture window. And again, this is happening in camera before we pass it through the Microsoft Teams call. And this gives people on the far side just, an up close and personal view of the speaker so that they can see gestures, they can see, facial expressions, that sort of a thing. So again, it's just one way of HP kind of using the technology and what's built into the camera itself to just provide a more inclusive experience.
Yeah, no, this is super important. I guess using the front row language in this. I just I guess from a team's perspective, I think this you certainly could use a camera like this with the front row layout, right? Yeah, but I think in this context, this is just about getting a great seat. You don't have to use this in a room that's using the front row layout. You certainly could on the Teams room side, right?
Yeah, actually, you bring up a great point. When it comes to front row, part of the development process with the cameras and the audio equipment was to make sure that we were aware of Microsoft's roadmap. And front row was on the roadmap while we were developing the camera. And that's why we were able to incorporate multi-stream technology into our camera. And multi-stream is what allows front row to work properly. So,
Yeah, so
to
I
your
think
point,
this is really important, I guess, distinction. So as it relates to intelligent cameras on the Microsoft side, I guess this is HP aligned with Microsoft kind of on this road, correct? That in the future is going to deliver multiple streams into the Teams service,
yep.
And that requires the right hardware in the device and at the edge, and then it requires that relationship and work with Microsoft to ensure that you can hand off those streams, and those could eventually get broken out into individual participants in the Teams client. And then certainly, I guess, the front row experience, which is really just the layout that you see in the room, often would involve one of these intelligent cameras. So yeah, good stuff, super important. And yeah, I guess in terms of picking the right horses, this is really important for customers to ensure that the investments that they make are going to they're going to evolve with the evolution of what Microsoft is doing with Teams rooms and the intelligent story, both around camera and audio.
Yeah, most definitely. Even to show off some of the power of the camera. Again, not to confuse it with front row, but we've actually included a dedicated what we call panoramic frame version of front row in our camera. So if you're looking at video only, front row is great because it includes things like chat and everything else on the screen, including the agenda. Sometimes video just needs to be the number one focus. So again, just based on what the camera is capable of doing. We've introduced panel frame, which panel frame gives you that wide angle view, but picks out all of the individual faces in the stream and shows them as a rotating, frame below the video. So again, just to kind of showcase what the camera is capable of doing. I think this is a feature that, works in a lot of conference rooms.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Yep. So maybe shifting gears too to audio, because video is great. Audio I think is arguably even more important. People will put up with lousy video, but if you got lousy audio, you really can't kind of move forward. So on the audio side, there's a couple things we've included as well that I think are definitely worth noting. That again are differentiators from some of the other products that you might find out there. And the first one I'll mention is really what we call HP Auto Volume. All these have HP monikers in front of them. I'll kind of walk you through what they do here. Basically, with HP Audio Volume, what we're doing is we're establishing a noise floor before the meeting kind of starts. So our system is basically identifying what's the noise floor in the conference room. And again, our focus here was on removing the need for people to reach out and turn up or down volume control or just interact with the center of room control. So what we're doing is, let's say you're in a conference room and HVAC kicks on, or you get into a heated discussion, our center of room control and its dedicated processor are going to recognize that and automatically raise the volume of the center of room control so that remote users can still be heard. So we're taking the need to reach out and turn up the volume when the HVAC unit kicks on away from the user and just doing it automatically. And that way, when the conversation comes back down to a normal level or HVAC goes off, we'll lower the volume back to a normal, comfortable level. So again, just a feature that we've kind of built into the product to help our users and let them focus on the real reason they're there in the meeting space in the first place, and that's just the content, not worrying about the technology.
This is super cool. I think all of these kind of AI driven experiences just speak to this idea that we want to get the technology out of the way and we want people to just walk in and experience it. And we're past a world of remote controls, and we're past and we're hopefully reducing. There's certainly reasons that we want to be able to interact with a touch panel, to add a participant or change the layout that side. But some of things like adjusting volume, are not high value. They're just things that happen. And so, yeah, really cool to see HP kind of and putting effort from an AI perspective into areas that simplify the user experience. I think that's, it's all about that.
Yeah, it's fun to see how these things evolve too. As users' needs change in the spaces, because these products are, they're hardware driven, but they're built on software. The product's going to continue to evolve and change with the user, just through firmware updates and software updates. So, we'll continue to add thoughtful features like this to the product just through software updates as time goes on.
Great. Yeah. No. So it sounds like there's some headroom built into the platform to accommodate some future exciting feature functionality and maybe direction that may be coming from from Microsoft.
Right. Yeah. There's a few more things actually too that are worth mentioning. As far as user experience is concerned, and one of the things that I know is a big challenge for a lot of people is just kind of never knowing who's going to walk through your conference room door, what kind of device they're going to be on, or what meeting platform they might use. A lot of people standardize on Microsoft Teams, and that's great. Maybe all your internal meetings are Microsoft Teams, but you never know when you're going to be invited to another meeting, a Zoom meeting, or maybe you have somebody outside come in that wants to run a Blue Jeans or a Google Meet meeting. And we wanted to be able to offer a software agnostic solution. Obviously Microsoft and Zoom and WebEx have done a great job with direct guest join and the ability of a Microsoft Teams room to join a Zoom meeting. But that's only great if you're using one of those three platforms. Again, I mentioned some of the others, and there's an endless amount of video conferencing solutions out there. We wanted to provide a way to allow users to walk in, drive the meeting from their own laptop, but still kind of take advantage of the professionally installed camera that Unified put in, and the audio equipment that's there, and the display and all that, without having to kind of suffer through a meeting by turning your laptop around and having to use a local camera. We've done that through what we call guest mode. So this is a standard kind of thing that we've included in all of the HP Presence models, HP Presence kits. And basically what we're doing is we're including in the box, what we call a Trident cable. The Trident cable has USB-C on one side, which gets connected to the center of room control. It can be locked underneath, or you can use the side port here. And on the other end of that cable is USB-C, USB-A, and HDMI. And the user experience here is, let's say I'm that user with a Blue Jeans meeting, and I walk into this Microsoft Teams room. With a single cable, I can plug in a USB-C cable and immediately grab the camera, the microphone, the speakers, and the display all over that single cable. So we're able to leverage all of the peripherals and components of the HP Presence system, or third-party peripherals that might be connected to HP Presence, all through the center of room control. So this is the closest to
just
software.
Make sure I understand how, and totally agree. Number one, that this BYOD pass-through concept is really exciting to kind of extend the interoperability story. While it's certainly true, you can just forward a WebEx or a Zoom meeting to the rooms, and soon you'll be able to forward a Blue Jeans or GoToMeeting, right, to the rooms. There could be something beyond that somebody wants to do, and this idea of just being able to essentially bypass the room system and connect the peripherals in the room directly to your laptop has a lot of value. In terms of how you're architecting this, is that the same, I guess, the election of whether I want to use that as a content cable inside the Teams rooms, or I want to bypass the Teams room and use it as a pass-through? Is that an election on the touch panel versus a different cable?
It is, yeah. No, it's the same cable. You can use the same cable. When you plug in initially, it defaults to screen sharing, just like you'd normally get from any Teams room appliance. And then actually, you're going to use the HP Presence extended menu to enable what we call guest mode.
Yeah, so that's exciting, and that's also kind of differentiated. I think, in terms of how this BYOD pass-through kind of works. I think with some others, it's you kind of make a choice on the cable. And I think here you're making a choice on the touch panel, right, in terms of the experience that you want.
Absolutely. We wanted to, we just wanted to reduce the number of things you have on your conference room table. Nobody needs
if you've got USB-C, it's single cable. If you don't have USB-C, you can use HDMI for just sharing. But if you want to do is that the story?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yep, depending on what your laptop offers, the connection should be there to allow you to use either just sharing or guest mode.
very cool. Yeah, talk to us. I know that talk to us a bit about kind of room assist. I think this is another kind of interesting story coming from Presence.
Yeah, so actually this is kind of a great way to kind of showcase that HP Presence extended menu. So, if you watch this, kind of animated image on the top right here, you can see, this is the center of room control. This is our presence center of room control. And down in the bottom right hand corner, you have that advanced menu there. And what that drops you into is it drops you into our HP extended menu. This is where you'd go to get to guest mode, but also get to what we're calling HP Presence Room Assistant. And I'm going to go back to the idea that we were really focused on end user experience when designing this product. And one of the things we heard from a lot of our customers, a lot of our partners and integrators was that so many times, simple issues in conference rooms often went kind of unreported. And the challenge there is, a lot of times maybe you're only there for a 30-minute meeting, you're willing to just put up with the problem. It's always a complicated process to submit a ticket, right? You have to go to some third-party system and you got to log in and you got to fill out this whole form just because, the trash was overflowing or the room was too hot or too cold. So we wanted to take all of that difficult process out of the equation. So we built what we call HP Presence Room Assistant right into the center of room control. And the idea here is that this is just a very simple way to allow users to report common issues. So I think there's about 12 predetermined issues that we allow you to either enable or disable. And in a future update, we're actually going to allow you to completely customize what those issues are. But it allows you to just go into the HP Presence menu and report an issue with a single tap. And it even gives instant feedback with a timestamp for the user to know that, hey, this issue was reported successfully. In fact, if someone else reports it in maybe the next meeting and it hasn't been resolved, it even changes from yellow to orange and then orange to red, I think, just to indicate how many times the issue's been kind of reported. The cool part about this is, not only do these issues get reported back to TechPulse, which is our management platform, you can even designate, an independent email address or distribution list for every individual issue. And the reason for that is, we know that, maybe the room too hot or too cold or trash is full might be handled by a facilities person, where a missing video cable or something like that is handled by the AV team. This gives you the ability to, even if you're roaming around the building, to get an email that, hey, room 203 has complained 3 times that the room is too hot or too cold. That facilities guy can go and address that issue.
Yeah,
So,
so they could have this either either leveraging, and I think maybe we'll talk next about the kind of central management tools that HP provides, but they also could be feeding this into an ITSM tool via email. And it sounds like, or it's sending these in different directions based on the nature of the incident, right? It could be, if the lights are out in the room, that may go to facilities where, if this thing, somehow it doesn't have, it has an audio issue, something like that they want to report, that would go, that would turn left versus right.
Yep, exactly. So whether you do it through email or, again, the TechPulse platform has APIs that will allow you to integrate it into things like ServiceNow, so that you can open up more complex tickets with a single tap here. It's just that the user doesn't have to go in and fill out what room they're in and what time the issue happened and all those different things. They just tap a button and then the issue gets resolved.
Great. Yeah, so let's jump in, unless there's anything else you wanted to share on this side. Love to hear a little bit about the central management side. I think on one side with Teams, we know certainly there's tooling inside Teams Admin Center. There's toolings inside the managed service portal, and based on the new Pro license, almost all customers are going to have access to that kind of more elevated experience. If they don't today, soon. It's going to give them kind of the software update framework for the application and for Windows, and a lot of insights and reporting from a device perspective. But know that there is further that a manufacturer can go. And so we'd love to hear kind of what HP is doing from a central management perspective, kind of beyond what what's inside the Microsoft tooling.
Yeah, you said it, Ryan. And our goal here is really to complement kind of what Microsoft is already offering from a management platform. Again, more focused on really the hardware and the devices and visibility of these devices throughout your kind of deployment. So I think the two are going to work together, pretty well. And I'll even talk about how HP Presence Insights can ingest some of that call quality data into our platform. So again, regardless of which platform you might like to use, you'll see a lot of the same information. So yeah, kind of starting at the beginning, HP Presence Manager, which is what we're using to manage HP Presence devices, is built on our TechPulse platform. And if you're an HP customer or if you've used HP end user devices for a while, this is the same platform that we use to manage all of our end user devices, notebooks, workstations, all those kind of things. So, this is a really kind of proven management solution. We're just pulling conference rooms into that mix. So it just becomes another tab in the management platform you may already be using to manage your end user devices, which first, obviously makes it really powerful, because now you have one place to go to see all the remote devices and also the conference room devices in there. So that's kind of the first step. And the manager platform, HP Presence Manager, is really kind of focused on, again, the hardware of the device. So again, real-time hardware monitoring. This is also where you can come to do, firmware updates and that sort of thing on the devices. Now, keep in mind that these are Microsoft certified devices, so a lot of your updates can come through Windows updates. The nice piece about HP Presence Manager is, in addition to just HP Presence equipment, we're also able to monitor, non-HP devices. So, one of the kits that we offer is kind of a base kit, which includes just compute and control. It allows, again, our partners like Unified Communications to really select the camera that works best for the customer. Again, it might be a Poly camera, it might be somebody else's camera. We wanted to give our users the ability to have visibility of those devices, even though they're not HP devices, because that will help you kind of do your job. So we are incorporating at least the visibility and status of those devices. Not firmware updates just yet, although Poly obviously is being pulled into HP Presence Manager at some point in the near future, and we'll be able to offer firmware updates. But it is kind of a cool thing to be able to offer, not just HP Presence monitoring, but also those third-party devices. This is also the place that you might come to enable or disable any of those features that I talked about. So maybe you don't want speaker frame on your cameras. You can go here and batch configure all your devices kind of at one time. And HP Presence Manager, kind of what we're looking at here, included with every HP Presence purchase. So there's no additional cost for this portion of the management. We do offer another layer, which is a subscription-based solution that really takes and builds on our HP Insights platform. So again, HP Insights is all about being able to provide predictive analytics and predictive hardware health. So the goal here really is around being able to allow our administrators to be proactive about issues. So, HP as a PC manufacturer, we know a lot about, what causes devices to fail, or a battery to swell, or a fan to stop working, and what things might come before that issue ever surfaces. And we're taking that to the conference room now, right? So in our conference room, our system is powered by a desktop mini, the same kind of compute engine that a lot of our other customers are using as workstation devices. And we're able to collect information about how that device is operating ahead of time. So we can see if the device is throwing errors that might indicate a hard drive failure is coming, and report that ahead of time so you can get ahead of it. So rather than Monday morning when you've got that meeting about to happen and somebody's hair's on fire because something's not working, you can kind of get that report ahead of time and get a new device provisioned and out there. So again, that's the kind of exciting part about HP Insights, but it also brings in, or we're able to ingest, Teams dashboard information as well. So again, now you have a single pane of glass where you can go to view your end user devices, to view your conference rooms, to view hardware health, and also to see audio and video quality of your meetings and utilization metrics. So all that gets kind of packaged into HP Presence Insights.
Very cool. Well, I would like to just remind our audience, if you have any questions, because we're kind of at the stage where we can take some Q&A, please feel free to put those into the Q&A pane. We'll keep going. Maybe, Matt, while we wait to see if there's some questions, it may be that we're doing a great job of answering everyone's questions, but maybe you could just just go back to that portfolio slide and just kind of
Yeah.
show us what's shipping today,
Yeah.
what's available, and then kind of what's kind of further down the road.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Ryan. So, yeah. So, well, again, as I said earlier, we're kind of earmarking this wave one and wave two. So part of wave one is really, these two kits one and two. And what you can see here on the screen is, our extended, portfolio HP presence. So instead of selling these solutions all as individual pieces, which, we'll do, we wanted to kit these up. So to kind of make the decision-making process easier. And, I always say that there's really two things that drive user adoption. And first is simplicity. The other is consistency. And bundling these as kits, I think, helps with the consistency, part of the equation here. It allows you kind of to go out and do that needs analysis of the space and then select the kit that kind of works best for that space. And the goal would be ultimately that, familiarity happens across all the different spaces and there's consistency. So even if the space might be new to the user, when they walk in, the technology feels the same. They know exactly how to use it. So again, we're going to be rolling out, these kits as kind of the year goes on, with kits one and two, which I have highlighted here, available now. So as Ryan said in the beginning, these products are now shipping. We're able to take orders on kits one and two. If I blow those two up, they kind of look exactly like this. So you heard me mention earlier that, HP Presence Kit One is kind of our base kit. So if you've already got, audio and video equipment in your space, we don't want you to have to throw that technology away. So this allows you to kind of get into the HP Presence family. You get a nice center of room control. You get the compute engine. Obviously, you get everything that comes with HP Presence Manager, but you can attach whatever peripherals it is that makes sense for your space.
Yeah, including
this is also
some natural poly choices here that could fall in for for some of the medium and larger rooms, right? Yeah.
Precisely. And I mentioned it earlier, kit two includes our camera. Our camera, because it's a digital zoom, is really designed for those focus rooms, huddle spaces, small to medium-sized conference rooms. When you get into really large spaces that might require, a ceiling microphone array or an optical zoom camera, that's where maybe kit one makes more sense for you, and you pair it with, again, a Poly Studio camera or something that's designed for those larger spaces. But again, if you're looking for the, an all-in-one end-to-end HP solution, that's our kit two, which includes that center of room control, the conferencing PC, and then our C camera.
Yeah, and so we didn't mention, but these are all, well, you did mention that these are all Windows-based Teams rooms, and
Yep.
I think the other side that Poly's kind of bringing to the story is a whole portfolio on the Android side. So I think that's if that's a preference for customers on for Android, then I think that now fits into this HP story as well, as we talk again about this idea that between HP's portfolio and what Poly is bringing to the table, yeah, there's not a lot of scenarios that aren't available. Yeah, I would just say it looks like we don't have any questions. This has certainly been super informative for me. I think it's clear that a lot of thought was put into Presence in terms of trying to create some market differentiation and trying to leverage AI. And so yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that we didn't cover, Matt, that you wanted to make sure we share. Otherwise, we may wrap a little bit early. Again, if there's a last call for Q&A, if anyone out there has a question for Matt or for me, relating to either HP Poly or or specifically to the Presence line.
Yeah, no, it seems like the audience is kind of taking it easy on us this morning. So
let's say we've got one question
of
that
course.
I'm gonna publish. That is the compute available as a separate item? Well, it's clear that there's a kit that's compute plus touch panel, and so and that's certainly available. But yeah, I don't know. I'll let you answer if kind of compute is available separately. It would only be, I guess, in a scenario where you were kind of a la carting some things from a bundling perspective. I think because you need the touch panel obviously for the MTR experience.
Yeah, so you're right. You obviously need some kind of a touch control. This is a great question, one that comes up pretty frequently. So initially, HP Presence was designed, to work with the HP Presence control, and the reason for that is because we want to be able to provide you that that guest mode experience and the room assistant and all the great things, the secret sauce that comes with HP Presence. But we've heard from a lot of our customers, certainly our Slice customers, that sometimes there's a need for just the compute engine because they're going to leverage someone else's control or whatever else. The only thing I can say right now is stay tuned. We're working on something. If you look at the Poly portfolio as well, Poly also has their own touch control. So we are working on a compute-only solution that will allow you to kind of piecemeal your own solution together with whatever touch panel you choose to use. Now, you may lose some of that HP Presence secret sauce. Again, there's not going to be the guest mode pass-through or those kind of things. But in certain circumstances, I understand why that's not necessary or not needed. We'll be making announcements around exactly that in the near future.
Great. Well, I would like to say a very special thank you, Matt, for joining us today, and for all of you watching either live or watching this on demand. The team here at Unified Communications would love to continue this discussion, and we're offering a complimentary shared space planning session led by one of the unifiedcommunications.com architects, where we can kind of dive into your spaces. We can talk through some of the modern ideas, like how you can optimize these spaces for hybrid, how you can think about kind of combinations of both traditional and hybrid optimized spaces, how you can leverage presence, and how you can kind of take both what HP and Poly is doing and blend all of that together in terms of a strategy. So please be on the lookout. This meeting is being recorded. There will be some post-event follow-up where we'll give you an opportunity to schedule that strategy session, as well as to share this recording with others. And so, yeah, again, big thanks, Matt. And with that, I think we can call it a wrap.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I don't think I need to tell your audience that they're in great hands with Unified, but anything I can do to help in addition to that, as far as answering presence questions, I'm available as well as the rest of my team. So, Ryan, thanks for having me. This was great. I really appreciate it.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.